All right, so let's get into this. I'm going to try to type my dad. So, my dad doesn't like long-term plans, so ENTJ is out. He doesn't have a clear goal that he's moving towards. He doesn't like learning theory. So INTP is out. He doesn't really enjoy thinking and discussing too much theoretical stuff. I would say that he has a very challenging time to see things from different perspectives and does not actually find debating from different perspectives to be something that comes naturally. He's not interested in that, so he's not a debater, not an ENTP. I would not say that he looks at the world symbolically in a very INFJ or mystical way. He doesn't see the desire or need to help mankind, or doesn't seem to have any desire to understand the complexities of human psychology and try to help empathize and heal people. I would not say that empathy is one of his strengths when it comes to people. So he's not known for having head in the clouds. He's a much more practical person. I don't think he gives off the energy of the ENFJ, where, like a little son, he does not actually he doesn't enter the room and attract attention and draw people to them. I think the ENFJ is full of this liveliness that a lot of people can really gravitate towards. I'm an INFJ. I feel like I don't have as much energy to give as the ENFJs, and people can sense that the ENFJs give so much energy that people just want to be near and around them. And my dad doesn't give off that kind of energy. The ESFJ loves groups, feels alive in groups, and enjoys that group environment of helping things operate really, really smoothly. I think my dad is more of if he's in the group, he's going to hold back, a much more private individual. Whereas ESFJs, like Ashley that I know, they really come to life in groups. ESTJs, So my mother is an ISCJ, and she's so interested in the details of planning. She's so worried about this, what if this happens, what if this happens, and she takes proactive steps to make sure bad things don't happen. I think my dad has a much more don't care attitude, and that causes a lot of conflict, so he's not an ISCJ. I would say the ENFP has an endless supply of topics to discuss. Always looking for new things, always seeing things from different angles, very explorer mindset. I don't see my dad have that vibe that Aini has, where Aini is really thinking about, oh, have you connected this? An ENFP is like a synthesizer connecting a lot of new ideas and creating new ideas from them. So we could eliminate 8 off the bat. I would say that INTJs are busy all the time and are very serious thinkers and can't handle conversations that don't align with their long-term goal. My dad doesn't have a long-term goal. So he's actually much more, you can talk to him about the dogs, you can talk to him about very simple conversations, and he's fine. I think the ESFP is someone who's quite bored easily and needs to have fun. They have a need to have fun. If it's not fun, it feels bad. And they like doing these quickly so they can have more fun. That's something you see, I think, in common with the ESFP and the ESTJ, is that they like doing things. They like getting things done. They both have T in it. The ESTJ is much more clean. They get things done effectively and efficiently. The ESFP is much more of it's messier, more forceful. Maybe the technique is not the most fine-tuned for the ESFP. But the ESFP gets things done so they can have fun. The ESTJ gets things done so they can do what they like, and it seems like what ESTJs like is actually not that fun. Like, the reason is, I think ESTJs expend so much energy on working that they prefer SI kind of enjoyment. So SI is, so I had a ESTJ friend named Lele, and she would work crazy hours. And after work, like, she would call me at like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, and then she's like, please tell me a bedtime story. Like, that's something that's more comfortable. And I notice ESTJs in their relaxed mode have a very coy and very playful way of talking. And I think actually ESTJs are, they work hard so they can chill. ESFPs want to party hard so they work. So it's like ESFPs will party, and then they'll get the work done later. The ESTJ is like, I'm going to get the work done first, and I'm going to do it super perfectionistically, get it really done well, and then I finally earned that rest, I'm just going to do something silly. So I think ESTJs have some very silly kind of hobbies. Or they have restful hobbies, SI hobbies. But ESFPs have very much more stimulating hobbies, and they just get work done quickly, so they can, getting work done quickly just allows them to do their thrilling hobbies. I think both vibes don't really match my father. My father does not like the most stimulating things. So he's more about energy preservation. He's not going to expend a lot of energy. He's having a lot of fun and then quickly get things done. That's a very high pace of life. Nor is he going to spend some ungodly amount of time on work and do it perfectionistically so that he can just rest and chill. That's, both lifestyles do not appeal to him. The ISFJ and the ISTJ are clean freaks. And my dad's not really a clean freak. Cleaning is not fun. It's not something that he likes. Because the ISFJ must clean because they hate unclean, and so does the ISTJ. They hate things that are out of order. I think my dad, his willingness to just be kind of in his own world means that cleaning is not going to take the highest priority. And if it was up to him, he does a good job taking care of my grandmother and the dogs and the animals, but honestly, he He does it not because he really wants to. It's not something he really wants to do. And I don't think he gets enjoyment from it. I don't think it completes him in any way. I think the caregiver archetype is out. My brother is an ESTP, and he's always going out doing rock climbing, playing basketball, partying, hanging with his friends, meeting people, networking, the SEFE loop. And he has good TI analysis breakdowns of like basketball, things that he's passionate, dating advice, and he has this singular goal, this NI singular goal. He's very much about, he gets stressed out if things don't work towards his entrepreneurial vision. And he's always challenging himself and doing hard things. And actually, I'd say he's actually making his life a lot harder than he's supposed to. This could be, he likes boxing. I watched some interviews from other ESTPs. It seems like they like to make their life go on hard mode for whatever reason. They don't value SI. They don't think being comfortable is the correct way to live your life, and they don't believe that they don't really like dwelling on the past, which is a very SI thing. They don't really care that much about what they like and they don't like, which FI comes in as a blind spot here for the ESTP. I think my dad very much knows what he likes and what he dislikes. So the ISTP becomes really good at something, understands something, and they like to complete missions. They're completionists. Their blind spot is exploration. So this is going to be a tough one because we have eliminated most of the types, and we have an ISFP, INFP, and an ISTP. So the ISTP is very much about understanding the logical things about the world. And what's really interesting is if you ask my dad, is he a skill builder, a dreamer, an aesthete? He's actually going to identify himself as a dreamer, which is why I used to type my dad as an INFP. But then it didn't really make sense to me when I learned more about them. When I learned more about ISFP and INFP, INFP seemed to match less than ISFP. So we have a ISFP, INFP, and an ISTP. Okay, so my dad's hobbies are like ping pong, singing. He's an accountant. Now, this is something that I don't want to throw him under the bus because my dad is a good person. He's actually been a good father, better than I realized. But, okay, so let's say he did judo. He was really good at judo, but he never mastered it. So he just went in tournaments and just beat some people up. He was a lifeguard and he saved one person's life. He became an accountant and he learned to do that pretty well. He has an MBA, but he never really got that interested in understanding accounting or business. I think at that level which he could run his own business. It never occurred to him that I have an MBA, I learned accounting, and I should open my own business. So he's actually a person who would say, he actually thinks that he underestimates his ability. He underestimates, he doesn't seem to really believe in his ability to learn something, learn it well, and master it. And that's something that I think if my dad was an ISTP, I think if he did judo, he would act like if he touched judo, he'd become like a black belt. If he touched ping pong, he would become very good at it. If he touched karaoke and singing, he'd become good at it. So the thing is, my dad he's touched a lot of things, and he's never really got analytical and deep into understanding how it works. So he's for example, my dad's ping pong skills. He used to watch a lot of ping pong. His skills are quite good, but he enjoyed the ping pong style of not moving. He enjoyed something he liked was he liked the feeling of being a heavier man, like a much larger, or he liked being a fatter, larger opponent, beating up people who were very fit and very sleek, who were running around. He liked to be able to beat people in ping pong being the fatter guy, where the other person's really fit and the other person is not able to beat him. And he liked not being able, having to move, and then they had to run back and forth and move back and forth. So honestly, I don't think that's a very ISTP thing. Like, that is so FI, which kind of leads to the aesthete is my dad liked to sing, and he liked to sing badly. Like, he could sing well, but I actually think that his ears kind of got damaged. But there's a singing style called sa jiao, where you're singing as if a chicken is being killed. My dad enjoyed singing as if a chicken's being killed. So he could sing perfectly well, but he enjoyed singing in a way that was painful to listen to, for other people to listen. And having immigrated from Hong Kong and come to the U.S., I think he's a very S type of person. I wasn't sure if he's an intuitive or he's a sensing person, but he also likes watching politics, and he'd watch politics. He's quite a Trump fan. He'll watch a lot of politics, a lot about China and Trump, and he'd just find it lots of fun. He would enjoy it. He would really enjoy it, and he wouldn't go that deep in understanding how the society and how the system works. Sometimes he enjoys talking about it, but really giving the ISTP, let me explain it to you. An ISTP is a person who should explain things very, very well and very, very logically with a minimal emotional content, because FE and FI are not high in their stack. Whereas my dad's emotional content has always been quite high when he's discussing things. So I think it doesn't make sense. Like, a lot of things he does not make sense. For example, he has so much experience in a trading company. He speaks Cantonese, Mandarin, and English. And so his boss speaks Mandarin, Cantonese, English, and is very rich. His boss is very rich because he used the 3 languages he knows to build a business empire and build relationships with people. But my dad's ability to build relationships with people is nowhere close as good. And my dad's ability to use, like, he has an MBA, he has shown great talent in a number of fields, singing, people. So he could beat people in things without putting that much effort to really train, which kind of goes to a much more laziness. There is some kind of laziness going on where even when he applied he got his MBA, actually, he had my mom. So there was one day that his brother came from Hong Kong to visit him in China, in the U.S. So my father's brother came to visit him during like finals week, and so he chose to go out and hang out and play ping pong with his brother, and he gave one of his final assignments to his wife, my mom, to actually complete as part of his MBA program. I think that is plagiarism and crazy risky. I don't think an ISTP would do something like that. It doesn't make fucking sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. That's like, well, we're just gonna be honest here. Your brother is also, your brother may be important, but really, your finals are also more important. So I actually have to be kind of impressed that my dad is actually quite an achiever for not even being an achieving kind of type of person. So he's not even that ambitious. but he managed to get an MBA. He actually managed to marry my mom was a very beautiful woman, and my mom was actually a very graduated from a top university in Singapore, and NUS, and my dad actually got a lot of things going for him. He was actually quite handsome and tall when he met my mom, which is also something that he was attractive, and he attracted my mom. And he have some kind of not trying very hard about himself. And also, while he's a Christian, I have never seen him make actual sense of Christianity. So the TI is not something I'm seeing him makes. He's not someone who's part of the making. Let's make sense of the world. I mean, his world does not make sense to me. Does not make sense to my brother. Does not make sense to my mom. He just doesn't make sense in a lot of ways. This is kind of illogical. So how are we going to differentiate between the ISFP and the INFP? Well, it has to be the middle functions. So one of the good news is the INFP is not really in the physical world, whereas the ISFP is really in the physical world. INFP's dreamer is not really there. But I think so it's the blind spot that is different. My dad really enjoys eating, and when he eats, he doesn't enjoy talking. And I've never seen him explore that many ideas or perspectives. He's not really bringing interesting conversations to the table. So INFPs and INFJs, from my experience, we get along really, really well because INFPs have a lot of interesting common topics with INFJs. ISFPs actually seem to not be the most conversationally interesting type. They seem to not. Conversation is not what they're about. Like, they seem to have an interest in, at least in China, the ISFPs I know, they're actually quite interested in arts and crafts. They're interested in fashion, taking pictures, experiencing life. Weather really affects their mood. I have not noticed whether that affects my father's mood at all. INFPs are also known to be emotionally stable and unstable and very sentimental. Think about the past a lot because of the FI-SI loop. So they get kind of negative emotions. But I think INFPs have the advantage when it comes to eloquence, their ability to speak, and they also kind of have the exploration of the any in the second position. So having the any in the second position, who else has any in the second position? It's the INTP. So the INFP and the INTP are very open-minded people because of any. They are able to explore different ideas and different perspectives, and they're not that off-put by things that are strange. So if I was to talk to an ISFP randomly, they would be like, oh wow, any is being satisfied. I would also say that my dad has a very secretive core, and something I noticed about ISFPs is they seem to never feel fully safe. They seem to be like one of those clams that they open and they close, and they're usually closed. And I kind of noticed after having a lot of podcasts with ISFP friends, there's something about them that's perfectionistic. Something about them that, and I can kind of sense this, is really weird, is I could somehow sense that my dad is one of those people who does not really want to try too hard because they're afraid if they try really hard and they fail, it's going to hurt a lot. So they would rather kind of not try and troll. Because if they troll and they lose, then it's funny. But if they try really hard and they lose, they're going to be devastated. I kind of see that in ISFPs, where ISFPs are being perfectionistic about their voice. They're like perfectionistic and hiding a lot of their emotional world, and they're not expressing that much, and they're keeping a lot of their world hidden, and they're one of the most mysterious and most misunderstood types. And a lot of what they're feeling is emotional, so they're not able to verbalize it. And a lot of what they're feeling is offensive and racist. Like, if you heard an ISFP tell you, "Oh, I don't like black people," well, I have some ISFP friends who told me that they don't like dating their own race. They prefer dating outside of their race because they prefer the bone structure of a different type of race. So ISFPs have I think ISFPs and ISFPs both have very controversial opinions. But the ISFP might actually have far more controversial opinions than the INFP. They might actually be more opinionated. Like FI makes you kind of opinionated because you like it, you dislike it. Like, for example, my dad extremely likes Trump, but he lives in California where they don't like Trump. Most people who are Asians don't like Trump. So if he was to reveal what he really liked and what he really disliked, he would get extremely negative backlash. But the same thing is my friend who's an ISFP knows that if she tells other Chinese people she doesn't like dating Chinese people, that they'll see you as a traitor and a racist against your own people. So I think ISFPs don't want that fallout, so they are private about what they like and what they don't like, and they just do what they like and what they don't like, and they stay away from what they don't like, and they just gravitate to what they do like. And they're actually very relaxing to talk to. So the thing is, when you talk to ISFPs, you get this idea. My feeling when I talk to ISFPs is that they don't feel the desire to understand you, nor do they feel the desire for you to understand them. They seem to be. They somehow know that the more you understand them, it could actually, the more potential for harm there is. So they're kind of undersharers. My dad is an undersharer. I actually think INFPs are more of the oversharing type with the INFJ. What makes them oversharers? I'm not exactly sure, but INFPs are they'll tell you their life story the first time they meet you. They'll tell you about what's bothering them. And they'll tell you about the things they've gone through, the divorces. Because the SI loop their memory is so clear to them, and they're always processing their memories through what they like and they dislike. Whereas I think the ISFP, what they like and they don't like, it's much more about the SE, about the world of the five senses. I think my dad's eye for detail, and you see this actually with ISFJs and ISTJs, SI DOMs, and even ENFPs, or just SI users. They tend to like to tell you detailed stories about, let me tell you about this grandmother and what happened, and oh, I met this person and her like, they get really detailed, especially when they're gossiping about people's lives, because they have such good memory. They can actually get deep on it. The ISFP's memory and SI is not at the level of the other SI DOMs, but the ISFP verbal communication has a severe limit. There's a severe limit to what they're communicating, and I think SI makes people want to overshare more. It makes people want to share about the past and talk about the past. And I don't see my dad want to talk about the past much at all. Like, when I'm trying to talk to him about, I'm in China, I'm trying to look for my family tree, our ancestors. My dad's response is like, why does it even matter? It doesn't really matter anymore. Like, just let the past be the past. Like, so he doesn't have the desire to preserve the family history in the same way my mom has. But mom has an SI Dom, and she has that strong desire. Let's find the family tree. Let's find out which village, and she can tell you this village and this person and this neighbor and then this. So the good thing about gossip and SI is when you're trying to find your family tree, who the hell remembers who your neighbors, mothers, uncles, aunts owns this piece of land, and they're all these random details. Somehow the SI users they become very, very useful when you're trying to look for your family tree. And I don't think that my dad is the most useful. Like my dad kind of remember. Oh yeah, by the way, my father, and my mother, they seem to have a brother. I think they had a brother and a sister, but maybe we're in Hong Kong. He just didn't really care about keeping track of what has happened in the past, and it's not happening easily. And this is something I've seen the ISFJs. I'm just saying my sister-in-law, for example, her daughter is constantly wearing the traditional Vietnamese headband. So I do know that SI users seem to value traditions and want to pass them down. My mother is a Christian and grew up in that tradition. She feels a desire to continue the tradition in the family, whereas my father is whatever, like wildflowers. Like he liked to sing and just like I really don't care that much attitude. So ISFPs are funny because they actually have this thing where they care a lot about they like this and they dislike this, but they hide what they dislike and they like because they know it's offensive. But their actual attitude towards life comes off as they don't really care, even though they're very perfectionistic. So they care a lot, but they look like they don't care. They care so much they seem to want to make other people think that they don't care. But INFPs, they care a lot, and they show it. They overshare. They get into the details. INFP Corner, I do like her channel a lot. I don't think an ISFP would run a channel like that because INFP, you just see the amount of words she's using. She's expressing her true self and her ideas, and she just want to INFPs can get TMI fast. INFJs as well because of oversharing, but ISFPs, they keep that protective girdle where they're whatever's going in the internal world. They know that if I share, I'm getting in trouble, so let's not do that. So, based off my recollections and my recounting, I would consider my father ISTP. My dad ISFP. Okay, we're going to go on the next episode on trying to type my girlfriend, which, oh God, not as easy as I wish. See you in the next video. Take care.